Hi, welcome back to Books and Bocadillos. My name is Maria Andrea, and I'm jumping back into this booktube thing with a tag. I don't know that I was tagged in this trick or treat tag, but I was mentioned in Pat's trick or treat tag video, so I'm going to consider myself tagged and do this really fun tag. So I have Pat's video here on my phone. The original trick or treat tag was created by Heather at the channel Heather Reads and by Meg at the channel Books Off the Beaten Path. And the prompts are really simple, and that's what I really liked about this prompt. The first prompt is to talk about tricks, 5 books which you have read that did not turn out to be what you hoped for, like getting candy, but it's not quite the kind you like. Tell us a reason the book didn't work for you. And the second part is treats. 5 books that you've read that were the best reading experiences you've had, or something like that. So I have my journal here and I'm going to talk about them, but I'm also going to match each book to a candy or a candy bar. And that'll give you some insight as to my taste in candy as well. So these are the tricks, the books that didn't quite work for me. And I'm starting off, I think this is going to be really unpopular. These books that I picked are all very popular, very beloved books, but they just didn't didn't work for me. Um, Apologies if they are your favorite book. The first one hurts to say because I really wanted to love this book. I really, 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 really wanted to love Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. I really like Gabrielle Zevin. Um, I mean, I'd read anything from by her. That book, though, Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, did not work for me. I ended up DNFing it. I just didn't. By like the 70 something percent mark, I wasn't invested in the characters anymore. Um, so it just felt like it was really slow burn. It was mostly character driven. I think the plot was kind of secondary, but the plot wasn't really engaging me. Um, the characters were flawed, and I don't mind flawed characters, but it just was getting to the point where I wasn't really rooting for anybody. There was just a lot of miscommunication. Um, just I was getting really annoyed with the characters. The they weren't compelling enough for me to stick with it until the end. Um, and this is a really popular book, and like I said, it's a huge bestseller. It was a book that I really wanted to love, and I just couldn't hang with it. Um, and so the candy that I pair to this is candy corn. Candy corn is like the Halloween candy. It's a candy that is beloved. It's a candy that everybody love. My husband loves candy corn. It's too sweet. It's just too sweet. It's not my cup of tea at all. Like I just don't enjoy it. And for me, I feel like candy corn is a kind of candy that you're supposed to like because it's seasonal and you didn't like it. And so Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow felt like it was the kind of book that I was supposed to love because I was supposed to love it because it sounded like a really great premise, but it just didn't work for me. The second book on this list of tricks is H is for Hawk by Helen Macdonald. H is for Hawk by Helen Macdonald was a book that this should have worked for me. Should have in the sense that it's about grief, and I like grief books. I work in hospice. I like to read about grief. I like to study grief. I think I love animals. I love stories about animals. I love the stories about animal connections with humans. So this book was also supposed to be one that would have been perfect for me. I just didn't like the structure of this book. I think Helen Macdonald, like Gabrielle Zevin, great writer, good writing. I can't say the writing was off. I just didn't like the structure. I didn't like the back and forth between um, the grief, and then it went back to like a past story of a writer. I'm forgetting the details, but that connection, I was missing it. I didn't feel connected. I didn't feel like that, like I was in a flow with the back and forth, and um, it just didn't. It wasn't a book that kept me wanting to turn the page. It, I felt bored, and I feel bad saying that because I feel like maybe there was something that I should have gotten that I didn't get, but it just didn't work for me. And this would be the candy that I would pair with this is the Jawbreaker. It's one Jawbreakers are one of those candies that take forever to get through. And I felt like the reading experience with Ages for Hawk felt like it was just like having a jawbreaker in your mouth. And maybe you want to stick with it for the challenge. And I felt like I was trying to stick with it for the challenge. I ended up DNFing it more than 50% of the way in because I just couldn't. The pacing, the structure of the book just wasn't working for me. And then the next one, number 3, Catherine the Great and the Small by Olga Nisevic, translated by Paula Gordon. This book is one that I picked up years ago for Read Around the World reading challenge on booktube. And again, it's a book in translation. I really wanted to love this book, and it didn't work for me. I also DNF'd this one at about 40% in, 40 to 50% in. I ended up putting it down for good. What can I remember about this book? I remember that I didn't like the characters. So maybe I need compelling characters in my books. But I do like stories with flawed characters. I've enjoyed some really great books with flawed characters. But I just didn't feel compelled to continue. It was a messy plot, and messy stories are fine, I think. I just didn't I just stopped caring at some point. I just stopped caring about the story. And for this one, I paired it with licorice or like Good and Plenty. I don't like licorice at all. And I kind of felt like this book is just not for me. And like it's just like I don't want to read this anymore. That's how I felt. So like the feeling of like licorice, not my cup of tea. Are you still here? Is anybody still watching this video? I feel like I've just called out some really great books that are great for someone, but they just didn't work for me. And I'm thinking everybody's already left me. But I'll persist. Book number 4 in the Tricks is Big Summer by Jennifer Weiner. Okay. if I haven't lost everybody yet, I'm pretty sure that the number of people still watching this video is dwindled by now. Big Summer by Jennifer Weiner was not for me. I also DNF'd this one. I DNF'd it because I did not like the relationship. I felt like the protagonist was in a toxic relationship, and it really made me angry. It really, really angered me. The sexual relationship in this novel, at least like the first part of it, I forget the characters' names, but there's this one scene that really angered me, and it was a lot of body and fat shaming, and it was not a positive sexual relationship, and I just couldn't. You lose me when there's fat shaming, body shaming, making like when a character's obsessing and shaming themselves. One thing is to read about a character that's dealing with an eating disorder or has body image issues. There's a way of doing it that I think could connect with me, because I have struggled in the past with anorexia and body image issues, and I think that there's a way that an author could connect with me. But the way that Jennifer Weiner was writing this character really angered me. It really angered me, and I just could not continue. And the sexual relationship in that first part just really turned me off completely. So no. So a candy that I paired for this is Whoppers. Ugh, malt candy. I hate it. I hate the taste of malt. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Didn't mean to stick on my tongue, but it's just gross. Malt candy is not good. And I felt like that, like in a Whopper, the outer part is the best part, the chocolate. And I felt like Jennifer Weiner has this really solid reputation. Everybody loves her. This book should have worked for me. It's chocolate, right? It's like all the good things that I love about chocolate. And then you get into it and it's just like leaves this like, well, like it just felt like malt, like malt. So that's Big Summer. That was Big Summer for me. And then number 5. This one also breaks my heart. This is Kitchen by Banana Yoshimoto, translated by Megan Backus and Noguchi Rika. Okay, so Kitchen should have worked. Kitchen should have worked for me, and it did. The problem with Kitchen was that I thought that the very I gave it away. I think I donated that book. I was so mad because I was expecting that this whole book was going to be one solid story, like one novella, and turns out that the first story is Kitchen and the second story is completely different. I read the first story, which is Kitchen, and I loved it. I thought Kitchen was great. The short story, the novella Kitchen, was great. I was expecting to continue with those characters into the second story, and the second story was something completely different. And it's like I was not ready for Kitchen to end. I wanted more. I wanted to continue with these characters. I wanted to continue the story, and then it just kind of felt like I was dropped. And then we're in another story, and I was trying to figure out what. And part of it was my expectations were to continue with the same characters. I didn't know that there's 2 stories in book. So it's not like a collection of short stories, but there's just 2 stories or 2 novellas, or a novella and a short story. And it really disappointed me. And the candy that I would pair with this is Mike and Ike, but if I only got the cherry. I don't like cherry. I don't like cherry flavored anything. And if I only got the cherry Mike and Ike's, I'd be really disappointed. And I felt like Kitchen was two stories, right? So you have like Mike and Ike, and you expect that, like, I only wanted one, and if it's like if I just wanted kitchen, and it's just you just get one flavor, and it's the wrong flavor. It's just the flavor that. So I should have felt like I would have liked to get a better flavor. Not get stuck with just a bunch of cherry Mike and Ikes. So those are my 5 tricks. I'm so sorry if I've grossed you out with my gagging. I just, ugh, these candies are not my faves. Okay, now for the treats. I picked 5 books. Now these are not like the top 5. Okay, I like had more that I had to cross out because I was like, okay, just paring it down to 5. I also tried to have a little bit of like balance, like some seasonal reads and then some just like fun reads. So you'll see what I mean. The first one, I think this is like the biggest treat. And I mentioned I left a comment, I think Angelia's, one of Angelia's last video, she talked about this book and the delight in when someone tells you they are reading this book for the first time and you're just like, yes, like you just cannot wait to see them experience this book for the first time. And this is a book that if I could like experience this book for the first time again and again and again, this would be the book. And it's We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. I absolutely love this book. I think this book is a treat. I think that the first time reading through this book is such an experience. It's such a treat. It's just amazing. This is probably my favorite Shirley Jackson. I can say that more confidently since I recently read The Haunting of Hill House with Melinda at Web Stories. So, Melinda, by the way, tagged. I just named you. And Angelia, I just named her, tagged. But yeah, now that I read The Haunting of Hill House and I did like it, I can say this is my favorite. The Lottery is also really good, and her short stories like Dark Tales and all those short stories are really good. But this is, I guess, Shirley Jackson is just the queen. You can't go wrong with any of her books. This is my favorite. And so the candy that I paired with We Have Always Lived in the Castle is a big tub of M&Ms. M&Ms are classic. Shirley Jackson is classic. And I would just put all, like, the mixture of all the fillings, like the peanut, the plain, the peanut butter, the Rice Krispie, like all of them, just put them in and just whichever you get. And it's this constant, like, surprise me. And that surprise element and that, like, it's, it's such a psychological read that I feel like it's, you're, every chapter feels like a morsel of delight. And I think if you just have a big tub of M&Ms and you just can enjoy all the different types and it's such a classic candy, I don't know, I just feel like you can't go wrong with M&Ms. You can't go wrong with We Have Always Lived in the Castle. And yeah, I don't know. I want to say more about M&Ms, but I think I'm done. The next one is this one. I actually had another book, but I ended up scratching it out for this one, and it was such a hard decision to do that. But I'm going to go with this one. And this is The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland in a Ship of Her Own Making by Catherine M. Valente. This is such a delightful book. This is the kind of book that, the main character's name is September. So I think this is a really great fall book, and that's why I ended up picking it, because it's such a fall book. It's a cozy book. It's a middle grade series. I actually read this and immediately ordered the rest of the series after I finished this book. Like, I wanted to have the whole collection, and I'm still working my way through it. But it's delightful. September goes on this journey to fairyland, and she meets her very best friend, who is a dragon, and dragon's name is A through L. And A through L is a librarian. And I just love this, the adventures that September and A through L go on, and the friends that they make. And I cannot wait to finish the series, but this is one book that I think it's just the first book in the series, the first experience reading is such a treat. And I think this is a book that is a treat because you could read it again and again and again. Unlike We Have Always Lived in the Castle, where that one experience is going to be like you always wish you could read it for the first time. This is a book that I think you could enjoy again and again and again and just keep delighting in it all the more. So the candy that I paired with this one, I think I'm gonna go with Snickers. Yeah, I think it's a Snickers bar, a full-sized Snickers bar. Next, the third one. I actually have these two books. They're part of a series, and I just learned that the third book is out, and I haven't acquired it. But the two books in the series, the first two books in the series, I have upstairs. I could not get to them. My husband ended up putting them in the very top shelf, and I wasn't able to reach them. And I didn't want to ask him to, it's already, he's gone to bed. I didn't want to bother him. I didn't want to make noise. I'm trying to climb up there to get the books. So I'll put them somewhere here. They are Aya, Love in Yopsity, and Aya, Life in Yopsity by Marguerite Abu and illustrated by Clement Aubrey. I don't know if I'm saying it's French. I don't know if I'm getting that right, but Aya. Aya is such a fun graphic novel. It's YA. It's received the Yalsa Award. I first read these books a few years ago, actually. It was, 2021? When I was reading them. It was a year we had that freeze in Texas, and we were without power. And I was reading them by the fireplace. We were with zero electricity. I was sitting by the fireplace with my little, fire, the kindling the fire, and candles, candlelight, and I'm sitting there with these books. And at that time, I only had the first section of the volume. I guess they're by volume, so I had the first section of volume 1, which is Aya, Life in Yopsity. I think that's volume 1. And so I had the first section. I just had that very first section. I didn't know that there was all these, or I think I did know, but I didn't know that I needed to have all of them. So I just had the one. And I remember I got to the end of that first section and I was like, no, 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 I can't. I just needed to continue the story, and I immediately ordered the rest, and I just had to continue, and then once I got the rest, they are unputdownable. Yeah, they're so good. So the candy that I picked for this is Starburst, because it's such a enticing candy. Starburst is just the feel of it, the taste of it, the smell of it. It engages you. Reading this book, you kind of feel like you're in Yop City and on the Ivory Coast, and it's such a strong sense of place. And I think Starburst are just flavorful and appealing to your senses, and I feel like this book was appealing to the senses. And there's also recipes in the back of the graphic novel. So I don't know, it just feels like it's such a good collection of a good volume, and the art is beautiful. The story is so well written. It's so much fun. This is definitely a treat. Like these graphic novels are so much fun. And then the next one, number 4, also a graphic novel, also a lot of fun, also very seasonal, and it's Beowulf um, by Zach Weinersmith and illustrated by Boulet. The blurb on the front cover by Lemony Snicket is so good. It says, as haunting, hilarious, and perplexing as the ancient stories one hears around the campfire, castle, or cafeteria. It's so cute. The artwork is beautiful. It's like a retelling of Beowulf. So there's a monster, and it takes place during Halloween. And the kids are trying to defeat the monster. I just want to show you a little bit of the artwork. It's just really pretty. So yeah, this takes place on Halloween, and the kids want candy. So there's a lot of candy in this novel. A blurb by Mary Roach says it's Sue's and Dolph's mutant offspring, gorgeous and darkly witty. Yeah, this is a treat. This is definitely a treat. If it's Halloween night, you want to be reading Beowulf. Definitely, 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 definitely want to be reading Beowulf on Halloween night. It's so fun. And the candy that I paired with Beowulf is gummy bears. Because, yeah, gummy bears. Such a delight. You can't go wrong. I'm just thinking, like, and if you're Mexican like me, you're putting chamoy and like mixing it with other treats, fruits or whatever. Yeah. Number 5. My mouth is watering. Okay. Number 5 is The Halloween Tree by Ray Bradbury. I honestly could have put any Ray Bradbury in number 5. I think Ray Bradbury is like one of my all-time favorite authors. Any one of his books is such a treat. And he has so many books that are of the season, like the fall season, very evocative. But I ended up going with The Halloween Tree because The Halloween Tree is my seasonal ritual. I just finished it today. I listen to the audiobook every year, and I love it so much. And it was such a treat because it was such a surprise. The first time I read this was a few years back, and I didn't know what to expect, but I wasn't expecting what I got, and I really loved it. I really loved it. I don't want to spoil it, so I don't want to say too much, but a group of kids, teenagers, go on a journey of self-discovery and heroic justice. Like they're going to try to rescue their friend who goes missing on Halloween night, and it talks about like what is the point of Halloween? How do people celebrate Halloween around the world? Um, and it's a story about friendship and what you're willing to do for your friends. Um, and it also, I mean, there's reflections about death and life and um, living for what matters. So, there's contemplations of faith and religion and culture and traditions, and it's this. He does so much. Ray Bradbury does so much in this novel. It feels like there's a lot of magical realism in this novel, and I think he does that so well. So anyway, the candy that I would pair with the Halloween tree is Skittles. Skittles is Taste the Rainbow, that's the slogan. I feel like Ray Bradbury does this Taste the Rainbow kind of a thing in this book. Like he takes you as a reader on this epic adventure all over the world, and you go on this adventure with these kids, and it's an amazing taste testing experience. So I read this every year for a reason, and I really, really enjoy it. I think it's one of my favorite um, Halloween traditions, next to watching um, Charlie Brown, the Great Pumpkin. That's also a Halloween tradition. So like those are the little things that I think Ray Bradbury is such a staple for me of this time of year. So those are my treats, and I mentioned I'm tagging Melinda at Web of Stories. I'm tagging Angelia at the channel Read and Reread, and I'm tagging anyone else that wants to do this. Happy Halloween! I know it's almost Halloween. It's Halloween week, so I don't know how quickly somebody can do this. But if you're watching this video and you want to do this, consider yourself tagged, and please tag me and let me know that you did this so I can watch. And I hope that you're having a wonderful Halloween week. Thank you so much for watching. Hasta la próxima.